Two things I want to ask about. One are, while schools are in construction, the fees that might get passed on to schools and even our parent-teacher associations. And the second is about schools paying for capital improvements like playgrounds. So the first is about, I have several schools in Hunter Mill where they're in construction and they want to do things like have a traditional annual in-school celebration, like Fox Mill Elementary does an amazing, their Japanese immersion program. They have to rent the space from an adjacent school because their facility cannot hold such an event. And there's been a few times now, that school, another school, where the school or either the PTA is paying that fee to the other school to host them. So I'm wondering, and I appreciate regional staff has gotten involved, so I'm wondering how that can be mitigated. The other thing, too, I'll mention, like Crossfield Elementary, so they're going through a renovation. They have the good fortune of being right next to a Fairfax County park and brokering, use of fees for in-school day, when the park can allow, but, charging the school for use, or the same thing, if the school was going to have a school-wide, event, asking them to go to another school, either pay for the advice I got was pay for transportation of those students to a nearby elementary to use the facility. So just, I wanted to raise that awareness and just being sure that while schools are in renovation, that they're not being asked, that parents aren't being asked to pay extra fees, or building funds aren't being asked to use adjacent FCPS buildings during that time.
So I'll follow up with community use on that piece, because there was a confused look on my face because I thought, well, why is this happening?
Yeah.
So I'll follow up with that. And as we've identified in the CIP, there are operating funds that we currently carve out of operating funds to support some of this work. And so we can also take a look at how we might be able to use current funds to support some of these fees. When I think about fees for community use, oftentimes it's because we have custodians in those receiving buildings who need to be paid, but we should be able to find funds within our current structures to pay those individuals without charging schools who are under renovation.
Right, and for like Fox Mill, there obviously isn't an event that a custodian at Fox Mill is doing for the Matsuri Festival. So I understand that someone has to pay the custodial staff at another school, but...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are some opportunities for us to think about what that process looks like. But I will follow up with you after the meeting so that we can nail this down a little bit more, so I can get the right questions for our community use staff.
Great. And the last thing is similarly about playgrounds. Mr. Fanshaw, I just sent you an email that I had put together from before you joined the team. But what is I would appreciate clarity, and I think the public would too, about the process for playground updates. I have one school, Aldrin Elementary, where the community has raised $50,000 for a new playground. Now that's amazing. But why are we asking the community to pay out of pocket for what should be part of our education? So I'd love to know, how are we assessing the cost? How is it updated? And who else is supplementing this cost?
So I'll have to read what you sent, and I'll have to get back with you on that one. Okay, thank you.